Okay, let's try this again. Call to order, adoption of agenda.
The council adopts the agenda as presented.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
All in favor? Adoption of minutes.
The council adopted minutes from the regular council meeting held on November the 21st, 2018.
Can I get a seconder?
We need to make.
And there's some changes that need to be put in here, Sandy. That me, Chris, and Donna White will not be attending that. There's no change that. Will not change that? Okay. Okay, we
But we
should.
also have to change that the North Central Local Government Association Conference will be you, Barb, and Chris, not me, you, and Chris.
Chris is going.
I know, but it's got me, not Barb.
Okay.
That
will change,
yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Introductions of late items, none,
Yeah.
public hearing. Oh.
Sorry, Worship, there's one late item that should be on everyone's wicket. It's the invitation from MP Zimmer for the luncheon.
Okay. And where was it? Public hearing. So is anybody interested in going to this? They're okay. They can, but we have to RSVP him.
Yes, please let me know.
I'll go.
Which one?
It's December 18th, 1 a.m.
Can
10
it-
p.m.
Ken is going.
Is it Tuesday? I'm going.
Oh, date night. Oh,
You can have a date. It's in the lunch.
Date lunch.
Down to lunch.
oh, it's a luncheon. Okay, delegation 6.1.
That council here,
Start-
delegation from,
Start with.
Damien. Sorry. Okay, delegation. Damien from the RCMP. Could you please step forward?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm sorry, you want me to stay here? Or? I don't want to block your cameras.
Wherever you're comfortable.
Right here is fine. So, well, thank you for having me today and getting me in last minute. So, part of the purpose of my time today was to introduce myself. I haven't been before you yet. I've met with the mayor a few times now, but I thought it was important that I come and actually meet the council and the village staff. So my name is David Worrell. I'm the staff sergeant and detached commander at Dawson Creek. I took the position on September 5th. So still getting settled in, but I've been there a long enough now that I think I can't use the I'm new word anymore. So I'm available to answer any questions that you have. I also brought the policing report that I delivered to the mayor. So I do a policing report every month. And I kind of capture our stats. It includes both the city of Dawson Creek as well as our rural area. I'm totally open if you want me to add maybe a section just dealing with the scoopies. You're a little bit more informed as to what's going on in your area. I have no issue with that at all. I don't know how you want me to deliver it. If you're happy with me just providing a copy to you, or if you want me to come deliver it in person too, I'm completely
No,
happy
you
to
can
do
deliver
that.
it to me and then I'll make sure that the staff.
Okay, and I'm completely willing, able, and able to come before you anytime you want me to. So if you want to call my office and let me know that you want me here for whatever reason to speak to something specific, certainly just call and let me know and I'll be here. Part of my main functions and responsibilities as Detached Commander is being in good contact with all of you and the city of Dawson Creek and our policing partners, agencies, and organizations. So in doing that, I want to make sure that I'm available to you and I can answer the questions that you have, or that we're maintaining good communication between our offices. So.
Good.
Yes.
Your community forum that you had in Dawson Creek about the businesses and that, did you get many people signing up to do Citizens on Patrol, or did you have anybody?
No, not actually. The Mayor Bumstead, I signed up, I think yesterday it was, so he just told me, but as far as I know, that's all right now. So, because Pooskoopi is mostly rural crime watch, right? It's a rural area. So I can tell you that the rural crime watch, I've been involved in their programs. I don't know if any of you have gone to their meetings, but a lot of people in the rural crime watch, like 30 people were at their meetings every time they go. So it's like Citizens on Patrol that's suffering a little bit. They only have, I think, 2 or 3 representatives. So, and we're really pushing to kind of increase that volunteering base so we can get more people involved. So for Citizens on Patrol, not yet, but it's something that we'll be pushing for sure. So.
Yeah, we have a resident, Mr. Huchman,
Oh,
that
okay.
does. And then Art Silo sometimes.
Mhm. I think Art is rural, right?
Yeah.
Rural
Yes.
Pembroke? Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember Art. Yes. Do you want me to go over the police report, or?
They've read it. They've
Okay.
read it. Yeah, a copy of it. I don't know if you want to put that all public.
It's public. Yeah, it usually goes, when it gets sent out to you guys, it gets sent to the media as well, and sometimes they publish it by forward, and sometimes they just pick and choose what they want, so.
Because I'm just kind of concerned about the vacancies, I just.
Yeah, I mean, take that for what it is. I'm trying to be open and transparent as much as I can and let you guys know exactly where we're at.
Yeah.
And I can
But
tell
do
you
you want
that.
the thieves to know that too?
Our policing services, I see your, I'll get to you once I
Oh, I
can.
was just, yeah.
Yeah, so our policing services hasn't been affected by the vacancies. I think that we're still doing a good job. We're just going in with more overtime shifts and more members, from local communities, we're bringing Fort St. John, Chetwynd, and stuff like that. So we're still filling the job. We're just doing a little bit more work than we would normally ourselves. I'm instead of doing a 40-hour week, I'm doing a 60-hour week. So, but it's only getting better from here on. So for resources, speaking to resources, I can tell you that we have 3 recruits coming. Tuesday coming before the end of December. I hope I have all 3. Third one's coming in January, so that's 3 more. I just had one more of our light duty member that was off duty, injured. He's back to full duty, so he's getting back this week. Our new sergeant's gonna be arriving December 17th, so.
Is Richard's going somewhere? or-
Sorry?
Is Richard going anywhere? No?
Not currently anyways, so. Before the end of January, that's gonna be at least 5 on the roads that were not on the road before, so it's a huge difference, 5 members, so. We were in a rough place and a rough patch there, but it's all going up from here, so.
All I ask is if you guys can patrol the school,
Mhm.
because there's big trucks passing vehicles and.
Yeah, so speaking to that, when we were dealing with our resource issues, our traffic section had been collapsed into the detachment to help resource us and give us the ability to respond to calls, which is kind of our primary responsibility. But since then, just recently, actually, one of our traffic members has moved from the detachment back in the traffic section full-time. So she's going to be patrolling the highways. That's her only function right now. And I know that she's been working with Scoopy already, so she's been on the road for a week, so.
Layton, like when they go to school, they start to go to school 4 to 8?
Yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah, 4 to 8, and the traffic is just non-stop, and those poor little kids are trying to go across the highway, and they're just flying on it.
So I'll pass that on. Sorry, you had a question there?
Yeah, thanks, David. I was just gonna ask if we could put that report on the public council
Absolutely.
agenda and then question back to council. Is that something you guys would like us to put
Sure.
on the agenda monthly when they come in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's public knowledge, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't put anything in there that I didn't want to go out to the public, so, sorry.
Years ago, we had a police car on a sheet of plywood and we had it parked over there.
I've seen these before, actually.
Yeah.
Vancouver ones.
But now I seen on Facebook when they had an RCMP
the
officer.
bright yellow vest.
Yes, right there, yeah. And I'm thinking, why couldn't we get something like that and move it around?
Absolutely.
You know what they did? They glued Tim Horton cups.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to keep people from defacing it, I will look into it.
Yes, yes, if you could, even if you put it,
An RCMP, I think, or officer out there.
yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. I love them. I think they're great. And for sure, yeah, I'll send
As
out
long as
some.
they're moved around, then people don't know
That they're not real.
Uh-huh.
they're not real.
Yeah, I'll send out some communication to see if we can make happen, so for sure.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Especially coming around that corner.
Yes.
Yeah, we could have Public Works move that around a bit from time to time.
Maybe put flashing eyes in there.
Apparently.
In the dark, with the eyes of it.
Have you ever seen the speed watch where they have the sign and the speed, your speed is, it's
We have a
volunteer?
little one?
Yeah, so we have one in the office actually, so we're actually trying to find volunteers to kind of run that. Because usually it's a volunteer thing where we give them the equipment and they go out and work for the day with this big speed sign to kind of, demonstrate to people what they're going, and it does make a difference with speed, so. If,
But we have speed signs there across.
these are like active enforced, there's people out there with radar guns and they're keeping track of all the speeds. And then they kind of report to us after, and it's a big visible thing, yeah.
So you know what.
And there's usually a big
the
sign,
highway
your
is.
speed is this, and it's been reported to the police type thing, so. Yeah, so it's actually pretty
So
effective
can
as
you
well.
do that?
Well, apparently I just found out this week actually that someone told me we have one of those at the office. We just need volunteers to help run it.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
if you want to supply me some names, I will reach out
On
and
our
see what I
days
can
off?
find for you. Even if we don't have it, I'll make sure we get the equipment so we can actually.
yeah, if you could just get the equipment and we can.
Tell, how many people at a time
I
would
think
you
usually
need?
it's two.
Two?
Have you seen them? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So,
No.
no, I think usually it's like, there's two. There's one that's holding the radar gun and then one on the table ready to down the speed, so.
Because Lorraine and I were talking about that.
Usually the vehicle's going by too fast because that's why we're ready
Yeah,
down the
that's
speed.
true.
first.
They do that in Chase. They do
Is it?
run that in Chase,
Yes,
so.
yeah. They're very effective, so I'll see what I can do for that too, so.
It would be awesome. That school's very good.
Yeah, it's bad. I can remember when I wanted to try and get flashing lights on that sign, I had to fight to get that sign. And then they said that if we did the flashing lights, then they would raise the speed limit to 50. I said, excuse me, it's a school road.
Yeah, I shouldn't have a problem. I'm sure that equipment that we need is probably sitting getting dusty in some office in Vancouver, so I'll reach out and see if I can find something to bring it out here, so.
Any other questions?
This was very knowledgeable, thank you.
You're very welcome. Anytime you want to talk to me, let me know. I'm able and willing to come before you, and I'll make sure that you continue getting the fishing reports. I'll add a little paragraph speaking directly to the Scoopy, so you have an idea of what your stats are here, so. Very good, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Just use that email address for those reports.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
So now Jay's turn. 6.1 recommendation. Let's do that, girl.
I can stand here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it has to be read. There's 6.1. That council hear the delegation from Jay Morris of North River Midstream Incorporated.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
And go ahead, Jay.
Okay.
You're on.
Good evening and thank you, Member Setti and councilors as well as staff for having me here tonight. Really the point of tonight's presentation is just to give you an introduction to North River Midstream. With that, I'll give a bit of context as to who owns us and how that structure works. I'll talk a bit about the assets, where we are geographically, I've got a good map. And then I'll talk specifically about a project, a major investment we're making in the immediate area today. This is a cautionary note, do I have to be on?
No.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I can be on that. That's okay. Cautionary note, forward-looking statements, things might not play out in the future as I'm presenting them today. So that's the full legal page for you. But like I said, we, North River Midstream, are owned by a bigger enterprise, Brookfield. Brookfield, this map just shows you how it's a globally diversified asset management company in over 30 countries, and over $330 billion in assets are under their management right now. So it's a very large company, a very diversified company. It's split into four main categories. The real estate is over half of the assets under management are in the real estate section. There's renewable power and private equity branches to this company as well. The one that we're really looking at here, though, is the Brookfield Infrastructure. Brookfield Infrastructure is looking at utilities, transport, energy, data infrastructure, and sustainable resources. And it's Brookfield Infrastructure who, in July of this year, announced that they would be purchasing Enbridge's Western Canadian natural gas gathering and processing assets for about $4.3 billion. So that's where we fit in, is in that Brookfield Infrastructure arm. Brookfield Infrastructure has a history in British Columbia of over 4 decades, being invested in currently, still to date, 5 hydroelectric dams, as well as the forestry industry. Previously, Brookfield has been invested in mining and oil and gas activities, but doesn't have any outside of North River. None of those are in the portfolio today. So this is a map of North River Midstream Inc. This is what we're looking at when we say North River. These are the gathering and processing assets in northeastern BC and northwestern Alberta. What we're looking at right now is a 2-phase transition from Enbridge to North River. And the reason that it's coming in 2 phases has to do with regulator. So what is currently owned and operated by North River are the provincially regulated assets. Those are regulated through the British Columbia Oil and Gas Commission. And you can see those in the darker blue. And what we're looking to transfer over in the new year, sometime probably middle of 2019, are the currently NEB regulated assets. So those are federally regulated, different regulator. The reason there's a bit of a longer regulatory process for NEB assets, we're looking to do 2 things though. We're looking to both transfer title from Enbridge to North River, as well as we're looking to transfer those assets from federal regulation to provincial regulation to bring them in line with the rest of the assets that we've got. So I should mention, this is not all of what was Enbridge's footprint in British Columbia. It's just the gathering and processing, so those raw gas gathering pipelines, processing plants. It doesn't include the natural gas transmission lines that run from this part of the world to all across BC to the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Enbridge will retain those longer haul pipeline systems. If you're familiar with the Montney, the Liard, the Horn River basins, you'll know that we're very ideally located right on top of those. So the Montney is a really economical formation right now because it's liquids rich. So that's making it economical on a global scale. The Horn River, it's near Fort Nelson, and Liard, it's near Fort Nelson. It's not as economical right now, but it does have gas. It's drier gas, though. That's the reason for its economics not being as good at this time. But we do have LNG optionality up near Fort Nelson because of that play. I should just finally mention on this map, all of these processing plants are in operation except for 3. The Bucking Horse and Sickanee up north. It's not so close to home here, but closer home near Pooskoopie, Gordondale West, it's not in operation right now. But in terms of all of the rest, they're in
The Gordondale West isn't in operation?
No, but Gord East is.
Oh, how come Gordondale West isn't?
Just demand from customers. Yeah, it's you know, we just take the approach of optimizing the system for the demand that we're seeing from customers. So if there's no gas flow to it, then we don't operate them. So what does this mean for Pooskoopie? Well, you know, it really is business as usual. With all of the assets coming over, a large majority of the employees operating those assets are coming over too. So it's not a whole clean slate of employees. It's going to be the same format that we had before. Most of our employees are living and working in this area, or the area of the assets that are being operated, especially on the ground level. So practically, day to day, you probably didn't notice any difference. We have some different colors and a different name, but I mean, day to day, like I say, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference. We will remain committed to the safe and reliable operation of these assets. And that's something that we said from the beginning, and we're only 2 months old, but you know, that's something that we've remained committed to this long. And I know that we're going to be putting everything in place to ensure that that's what continues into the future. In terms of community engagement, that also will continue. I think we have a good relationship with Pooskoopie, with the regional district, with a lot of the local leaders. So we want to continue that to support communities and to be community partners as we move forward. So finally, the Tupper West expansion program, that's something that we currently have underway. What we're looking to do here is a 3-part program, or there are 3 parts to this program, sort of 3 mini projects, and 3 applications to the British Columbia Oil and Gas Commission. As a result of that, we're looking to expand the existing Tupper West processing plant, and that's about 25 kilometers west of Puskupi. We're looking to expand it. It's to the immediate south of the existing footprint.
Yeah,
Is
it's like
where we're
Tom's
looking to-
Lake, right?
Yes, yeah, to the immediate south though. Well, the Tupper main plant is at Tom's Lake. Tupper West plant is closer to Feller's Heights,
Oh, okay.
just off of the highway to Tumbler Ridge.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're looking to expand it by about almost double it in size is what it's going to be at the existing site just to the south of it. So that's the first part, and that application's gone into the regulator, the OGC already. The second part is the red square you see, that's a booster compressor station. We've already applied for that as well. And the third part is the hashed yellow line. That's an electrical transmission line that will power the facility. So those are the three things we're applying for. The transmission line hasn't been applied for yet, but it should be coming any day. So we did have a public open house for this facility, and we didn't receive, there aren't outstanding concerns. We had some good questions, good conversations at open house, just in terms of helping people understand what the project was, but it looks good in terms of the public relations front. So we're looking to have this under construction early in 2019 if the regulatory approvals are received, and then in service by the fall of 2020.
So that's the old Murphy plant.
It is, yeah, exactly. So that's really what I had in terms of a presentation for you today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thanks for having me. I just wanted to introduce myself. You can now associate with the North River. You can call me Enbridge, Spectra, West Coast Duke. I'm fine with all of those too. I will correct you, but I just wanted to say, hey, we do have a new name now. We are in this area still, and you can contact me anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, how would we go about getting some donations for our ski park?
You can ask me.
We need some money for our ski park.
Okay. So, we're 2 months old and we're putting into place programs.
Okay.
Yeah, you can ask me though.
Okay.
That's the short answer.
Yeah, Chris will send you an email.
Okay.
I've got his email address.
You got it. I can give you some cards too. if you
Sure,
want.
that would be great.
Okay. I don't know if there's any other questions. I'm happy to.
Any more questions?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is. I hope so. It gets a little complicated with the number of regulators, but we don't, if you understand it's in 2 phases, it's gonna happen over time.
I have a question. How's the baby?
She's really good. If you ask me that in about 12 hours from now, it might be,
How old
No.
is she?
8 hours from now.
How old is she?
She's 1 month today.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I
yeah.
know. That's good.
Then I've got 2 little ones at home.
Yeah. He was right, it's right there.
Let's just pass these around.
90 days.
No, she's cute. She's sweet. I couldn't be happier, really.
Good.
Truly. I just make jokes, because it is different in the middle of the night, right? When you have to wake up. It is different.
Just wait till you have no sleep. That's what I'm doing.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate it.
I have a question for the next delegation that's
Did not
not
come?
here. Yeah. Do we know what they're coming for? Yeah. Where?
No, it's not.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
See you next time.
It's nice that when the delegation is coming, that we kind of know what they're at.
They were coming to talk about a seniors assisted living at Cookie's old place.
Okay, thank you.
7.1 recommendation.
The council pre-approved the 2019-2023 Village of Puskupi Fire Hall budget.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. New business. 8.1 recommendation.
The council received the interim audit from SRBG and its information.
Can I get a seconder? Any discussion on this one? It's a clean audit.
Yeah.
All in favor? 8.2 recommendation?
The council received the 2019-2023 Economic Development Partnering Projects list for discussion.
Can I get a seconder? And discussion. So what do you guys want to discuss?
All three things I think we should,
Yeah.
Yep. Fully in agreement. All in favor? And then correspondence. Does anybody see here anything for correspondence?
no,
Oh, the Mudfest one here.
yes. The council received the Extreme Mud Fest packages information.
Yeah. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a second or first? Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think it'd be really good, but I do have concerns on how much damage they would do to the park after, like, you know what I'm,
They've done it for Mudfest here before.
No.
Not
This
this
group
one,
is
not
not-
this one, but they have done the Mudfest here before.
Yeah, this group needs 75 acres to do the Mudfest.
We don't have that one.
Exactly. So we talked about them bringing in a band for July 1st and running July 1st. We just need volunteers to organize it, like bands, like main bands that they bring in and have a beer gardens and all that.
They're going to be able
They'll take all this one.
They're gonna have to, they're gonna have security and everything.
Oh, yeah. But the only thing is how much did you say, Sandy?
$100,000.
$100,000 we have to put in the budget for Canada Day. We already used how much, Chris? 40, so we'd have to put an extra 60 into the budget.
Their cut is 10% of whatever the total cost of the event is.
So,
ooh, that's a lot of money gambling.
That's steep for a little village.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think it is.
No?
I think that's a way to get
That's
people
an
here.
attraction.
That's an attraction.
It
That's
is.
a rebranding for here.
But do we have
Rebranding.
60,000 that we can stick in there?
Hmm?
Do we have the extra money to stick in there?
Yep. We do. Christopher, speak on that.
Yeah, generally speaking, our budget surplus on an annual basis is in the neighborhood of 400,000. So there's definitely room to look at something like that. That would find its way onto the capital and special project, probably into the special project side of the budget, where Canada Day would be, so.
Sandy, how many
Yeah.
people did you say would be here? 60,000 people?
6,000.
Is that?
That was for,
That-
that was for the big
No,
month.
that's for the bog.
Oh.
She figured 6,000 to 10,000, and we'd need camping for 6,000 at least. For the Canada Day, she figured about 2,000 to 3,000.
Wow.
Where would they go?
Where
Well,
they
we're
camp.
not there, we're not at
Lyles.
that part
They would
yet.
camp at Lyles.
Yeah, but it's wild.
6,000 people?
3,000?
No, but he can put up some. I don't know.
We could put
But
some-
anyway, I
If
asked
we did
Chris
this, we'd be
to,
doing it down at the park.
I asked Chris to have her come and do a delegation for us so that she can discuss it with us. Chris?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. I think, Sandy and I were talking about it, it came up in the staff meeting here today too, so. Canada Day, as far as the staff goes, is an absolute pile of work. It's weeks and months of putting,
Yeah.
especially now with the level that we've got going here, it's an all hands on deck. I think we were 8.5 or 2-hour meetings last year just to do the logistics piece before we actually start putting things in place. If the idea of bringing somebody in from a contract standpoint that we can sort of hand that to, and, okay, you guys tell us what bouncy castles you need us to station or be at on Canada Day, and you guys are handing all the logistics over. Even the kind of dollar values she's talking about from a cost benefit standpoint, I assure you the village is running through more than $10,000 of staff time to put this on if we were to keep track of all the staff hours involved in getting us to that point.
Exactly.
So, you know, the flip side of it there is that we're, you know, that would free up staff time for other, of course, you know, it sounds like they still want us to be involved. You know, the village staff is committed to doing the Canada Day, you know, that's part of our job requirements. You know, it's, you know, part of what we do to serve the village, so that's okay. You know, but definitely handing something like this, of this magnitude, off to a third-party management firm to sort of steer the ship and handle all the logistics, you might not get too much objection from the staff side of things. It would definitely take some stress away from us, but whichever way council wants to do it. The irony of it is, the last couple of years that we've been putting it together, starting with, you know, Sandy in 2016 when the floods hit, is we've kind of got what we're doing now down to a science. So
It's getting
we can-
bigger and bigger and bigger and
and
bigger.
it is, but we've got, you know, we've already lined up the bouncy castles, for example, for next year, and started talking some of the logistics and stuff. So the pieces are in place to have us do it as efficiently as possible. Going, you know, the route of somebody like this would take it from where we've got it now and raise the bar, you know, potentially a couple of notches again. This person could then come to council and throw around all those ideas and do all of that stuff. So, you know, it's in, balls in your court, I guess, folks, as to how you want us to.
Well, I'd rather have her
We're
come
doing
here
it.
to talk to council first before we make any decision.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see that, how we're reforming this.
Is after January, okay?
Well, she probably is coming up for Christmas with her dad, I'm not sure. So if we can kind of call her and see. I tell her that we definitely are interested in her services.
Okay, we'll try for December 19th.
Anything else? And this letter recommendation that the council receive a collective letter from Southern Mountain Caribou as information. Does anybody read it? Or you second it?
For discussion.
Yeah, for this one.
So the provincial government has canceled the ministry to come up and talk about this.
In an in-camera meeting. They want the regional district to have an in-camera meeting. And we all said, no.
So is the meeting at the George Dawson
Canceled?
It's canceled.
Government canceled it?
People are very upset.
And should be.
Definitely. That's no snowmobile, no cross-country skiing, that's no,
We have a lifestyle up here.
That's when we
And-
lived here.
and
We
when
lived
you-
here, we
yeah.
lived here. But yeah, we wrote a letter, the regional district wrote a letter, and then I wrote a letter, what, a month ago, Chris?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been maybe even 2 years.
We wrote the letter last week.
Yeah, we've been,
Speak,
Last week.
okay.
yeah, we've been on this as a council, as a municipality for a year and a half, almost 2 years now, so.
Yeah.
what are our options now? What is the Peace River Regional as our lead?
There's no options right now. They won't talk to us. They won't bring the regionals, they won't bring in any of the municipalities, and they won't bring in any of the industry into the talks.
They're just talking First Nations.
Yeah, supposedly. Some band members say that no, they're not. Some band members say yes, they are. It all depends.
What does the mayor of Chetwood think?
And I sat down and talked to him about what I was going to at the meeting, but got canceled.
So it's kind of tabled until, okay.
And anything else you guys see? Resolutions, bylaws, non-administration report, CAO report.
My turn?
Yeah, Mr. Wordy. I'm proud of it.
Very good.
Members,
Um,
you know members.
starting off from some of the items delegated by council, I've reached out to Chad Anderson. He's going to be coming on December 19th for a delegation. Shared with him some of the questions that council is likely to ask. On another front, I met with Wade this afternoon too for the community center renewal at the school. We had a chat about things.
Okay.
No issues really from the community center.
Are they gonna put the Encana back up on the community center sign?
I forgot to ask you that, sorry.
Also, do we have a definition on what a trustee is to the school board? Like, are they we vote them in there. So are they our voice? Do we take our concerns to the trustees? And are they our voice to the school board? Or are they the voice of the school board to us? Like, how does it work? I would like to know.
That would be a good question.
Yeah. I don't know either off the top of my head.
Would you know, Austin?
I'd probably say,
How does the school?
voice the school board, like they're sort of, these liaisons here and whatnot,
Yeah.
but they're the school board.
Well, they must.
Their voice is from the school board.
Yeah, I would say.
So why do we, I'm picking your brain, why do we vote them in there if they're not gonna be our voice? I'm sorry, I'm
Well,
a
we'll
little
find
bit,
out.
yeah, okay.
Sandy was just letting me know, Your Worship, apparently there was a training session for the new trustees. So
A weekend thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's last weekend.
We'll reach out to the school board to see if there's any literature about what the defined sort of a job description or something like that for a trustee and bring that back to council.
Thank you.
Rec surveys, the ones to the school went out. Alistair put us a report together. We talked about it in the staff meeting. We sent 130 forms for recreation to the school, handed directly to every kid in the school. We got 23 back. Very, very low.
Does that surprise you?
No.
That's better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so as I kind of mentioned to council before, this was sort of our last ditch effort to try and get some sense of what the community was looking for from a recreation standpoint. The numbers we see here, there's literally nothing we can do. There's categories, I mean, basketball had one respondent, gymnastics had 2 people interested, there's nothing.
I had a question asked of me. When we first did the community center, we had some cooking classes. We did Chinese, we did Italian, East Indian, different things. But that might be something we do 2 months, having a bread making thing or a canning or, things.
And I can do all those things.
Potentially, Councilor Smith, part of what we did with this one thing is we put a section in there that said, if you were able to run a program, whatever that might be, so if somebody interested in actually being the coach, program lead, whatever, let the village know. And we actually put in there that the village would be willing to pay somebody for their time to do that. Not a single person
Okay.
responded back.
I will work on that.
It's,
People don't volunteer like they
yeah,
used to.
we're, council had given us that direction, or put some rec programs on.
What about daycare?
We're spinning our
Anything back?
wheels. No, not yet, that formal one hasn't gone out, we're pushing that one out in the new year.
Okay.
The daycare survey.
Thank you.
So just to let everybody know, this was really, we've advertised it, mail drop, the school, or, if something bubbles up, we'll explore it. But we can't find anything that would cause us to move forward and launch a particular program. So.
I have people that are interested in helping me to start doing fall again in spring
Okay.
that are going to be coaches.
All good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, these are diamonds for us again.
We can share that with Al. Okay. Santa Claus parade, everybody felt it went pretty well. We did go around the table and discuss some potential improvements for next year. One of them being put on the forms that please don't bring a Santa Claus because.
Yes.
Because we have the real one here and they brought invitation.
You guys made Santa pout. I got a sad face while I was in the air from my husband saying, I don't get to go in the parade, I don't get to ride on the fire truck.
And when I went and told the guy on the tow truck that, hey, you're now Santa, we have one, his fate is, oh, geez, like he realized right then and there, darn, we should have asked first.
My great nephews were so confused when the firemen were doing their drive for food donations. I saw the lights outside and I said, I think there's something going on out there. They ran to the window and little guy gets his face lambasted against the glass. He goes, it's Santa. And I don't think so.
So yeah, despite having it branded as the old-fashioned Santa Claus parade, next year we're gonna put a note on the forms there that the village has Santa and please don't bring second or, yeah.
Thank you, Robbie.
We talked about the judging. We'd like to do it before the parade kicks off next year, just to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, but they didn't come, like they weren't.
So we talked about that. What ended up happening? Remember the parade procession kind of flew right through town. So Blair wanted to bring the trailer back right away to the Public Works building, so he shut the lights off and just kept on going.
We told him next year he could just pull over and park for a few minutes before. The judging should have been done before anyway.
Yeah.
It
We
should have
tried, nobody showed up. Like they were decorating, they were doing
Slapping it
everything,
together
right?
last minute, yeah.
And we were wandering back and forth and.
Yeah, we were all over the place.
Okay.
We'll put that on the entry form too.
Yeah, we'll
saying
put that
it'll
judging
be
to happen before parade. Yeah.
Please make sure your floats are decorated.
There's a little bit of talk about moving the fire pits to maybe keep people on one side so that the parade can all
Yeah,
go
that lot
around
there.
that side. And, yeah.
Let's have a big ol' fire over there on that spot.
And
Dig a hole.
what did everybody think of the fireworks?
Good.
Good?
Yep,
Yeah.
watched it right off my deck.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't have to move.
Okay. And yeah, we got good feedback on that too, so I think that'll be the Canada Day fireworks location, so.
And I didn't see any great big people on Facebook over that.
No, I didn't, yeah.
I think they were all rushing into town. With the turret going up.
Yeah, so, moving on, we renewed the mop heads cleaning contract for the village minus the fire hall. I sent out the email to the appraisers at council's request there to get the land appraised. The appraiser wrote back and said she should be able to have it done by end of January. Met with Isaac Hernandez along with Mayor McKetty about the status of the North Winds project. I sent a lot of info to council by email there. Give that a read when you get a chance, folks. You're likely gonna have to make a decision on how that's gonna look for the
When you
community
doing all
here.
that? When you doing all that?
Monday.
Yeah.
No?
No, yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday.
What's
We'll
that?
see, it was attached to my
Information
schedule.
on
It was Monday.
Maybe Sunday.
something or other, I didn't get it.
Okay.
Neither did I.
That would be part of that, you know?
But that's not.
Did you check your email?
I did.
Can you just double check where that went?
I'm sure you sent one yesterday afternoon too.
Checked it this afternoon.
Oops.
It's this thick.
How many hours do you want?
And then you want to read the January 10th meeting that we had first.
So it went to D.
And then you want to read the
That's-
North Winds
You
Human
sent it to
Center.
Scoopy?
That's why, ladies, they all went to your Pooskoopi, Village of Pooskoopi addresses, so. That's what's in the email distribution. I got the habit of clicking the mayor and council distribution list and firing everything off. Okay, I'll get that, I'll get that to you, to the other email addresses. Got a really good news phone call from Encana that they're donating $10,000 towards the skate park project. Brian does want to do a little bit of a press release or photo op for that, so thank them for doing that for us. Blair has been working on a bunch of operating policies for the fire department. We been going back and forth with them a couple of times, so those should be coming to you guys early in the new year. I submitted a claim for ICBC for the Poos Park vehicle damage that went donuts and then flip over. The RCMP had called me and said they couldn't recover it through their file, so we had to claim it directly. Lady I spoke to, our ICBC, said we should be getting a check here shortly. That was about $3,600 in staff time and damages that we claimed for that. Called the CUPE union rep following the fire hall admin discussion. Won't go into that too much in detail, other than to say every staff member that's working for the village has to be a unionized staff member. Our national rep there was pretty clear that we couldn't have some people on the books and some not. So, I got a draft land donation contract from Abbey Law for that piece of property outside of town there that's being donated from the church. Unfortunately, their lawyer's out of town until December the 12th. So we're still plugging away at that paperwork. That should be wrapping up soon. But I completed my registration for NCLGA. Completed an NDIT online housing needs assessment. They're looking for some information about housing grants that they might be offering moving forward. So I said the village would be looking for single family homes and seniors housing. That's it for CEO report.
Yeah, I told you he's worried. Councillor Smith.
Do we have a draft resolution to do with BC assessment? Could we get that maybe the first meeting, or the meeting in January, so we can have it ready to send it in to NCLGA?
We can maybe do one better, Councillor Smith. We could put something for discussion up on December 19th.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I just want to be prepared.
Anything else, Barb?
No.
Okay, so our capital special project. Oh no, our action items. I'm a little ahead of the game here.
Yes, I make the motion that we nominate Ken to UBCM. Yes, he's not here.
Don't teach him for not coming. Nothing on the action? Nobody sees anything on the action report? Items, I should say.
Don't, Your Worship, just on the action items.
Uh-huh.
We've got the item about halfway down there, contact Papa Don about the signage. I've tried to reach out to him with no success.
I told him last night to order pizza and it was closed.
I tried calling at lunch, order pizza today too, and it was closed, so.
Yeah, I don't think there must be that deal.
They don't
Well,
have three.
it was 2, oh.
They don't have three, and he was open today.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
It was last night.
No, he wasn't yesterday, but he was today.
I'd like to take that item off the sheet
Yeah,
if I
take
could.
it off. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Anybody, nothing else? Okay, now we have capital special projects. And our property thing is coming along, just right there.
I've asked Sandy in the new year if we'll book a meeting with myself and Carolyn Merrick to work on the cemeteries on Mark Graves.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the sidewalks, urban systems can't do a study, there's 10 feet of snow up there.
The study's just gonna be looking at the mapping and the right of ways. They're already working on that. I was talking to Josh about it last week.
So there's not very much to do, eh?
There's a little bit left to do.
No, but that's pretty good.
It is nice at the end of the year.
Yeah, we should have a pretty solid completion rate for these again, I'm guessing around the 90-95% range.
Yeah. So, councilors' calendars. I only have the air ambulance and staff dinner.
I have the South Peace Health Council meeting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock at the city of Dawson.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, just you mentioned the staff dinner, I had that in my notes, I forgot to mention it there tomorrow.
That's on the 12th.
Nope,
One
tomorrow.
more. Well, look what says December.
That's the old calendar, sorry.
Staff council dinner.
It's on the 6th, it's not on the 12th.
Oh, okay, it's on the 6th.
It's tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night. You have to
Yes.
remind me.
And Mayor McKenny and myself are going to attend Fred Jarvis's service on
On Saturday.
Saturday in Taylor.
Yeah.
If anybody else would like to go.
I'd like to go with Fred.
You'd like to go?
Okay.
Barb's driving, just curious.
No, she ain't driving.
She driving? I'm driving?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I'm right in the back then.
We tried to send a bouquet of flowers to it, and when Skylar looked into it, Fred's wishes were that a donation go to the South Peace,
The
I forget the society, but
Hospice.
they didn't want flowers, but that donation came along with a
What
little
time is it?
recognition that
10
that was
o'clock.
needed, so.
We're leaving at 10,
No, the service is at 10.
so we have to leave at 9.
Okay.
Well, or 9:30.
On the 12th, you have lunch at the
Driving
NLC,
Quarter to 10.
Hour.
at NLC.
How come it's not on my December calendar?
Because I don't know what you do with your calendar, but you have the one.
This is
Yeah.
your calendar.
Yeah, I know, but this is the new one here. Huh? Hers is missing out of her agenda. I think she left it at home. It was all there when I put it together. Anyway, you have a lunch on the 12th at between 11:30 and 1:30 at the Aboriginal Gathering Space
Yeah,
at
it's here on
College.
the 12th. Online.
I will remind you.
Oh, you better. Okay, so Counselor White's report.
The library meeting that I was supposed to have attended was the night that we had our council meeting. And they didn't have a quorum, so they didn't have a meeting. But I've been in touch with the state, I've talked to Courtney quite often, and then I've been doing the city cellar, so we can get time with that one. I still haven't heard from Dawson Creek Chamber of Commerce. Sandy, I forgot
Okay.
to tell you that.
I'll call
'Cause
Kathleen tomorrow.
We've been trying to get her to email me so that I know when they have the meetings. Other than that, I haven't.
Counselor Smith.
I've been off with torn ligaments in my knee. I want to, the light up, I heard just rave reviews about it.
Nice.
You know, it was very well done.
You mean the parade?
Yeah. So, other than that, I've been just gimpy.
Okay, so you're done?
Yep.
Counselor Hebert.
I'm not gimpy and I haven't been doing very much.
There's no museum.
That's all right.
And then Ken Drover's not here, and Mayor McKitty, I guess, gave her report of November on her last council meeting. So all I have is council meeting tonight, staff dinner tomorrow night, and air ambulance. All I
Where
have.
do you go for the ambulance?
Regional district.
Okay, in Fort St.
Yes.
Your worship, would you like to announce the winners of the house light up?
They haven't
I
decided.
just
yeah,
want
decided,
a 2
okay.
minute, I just want to say something. I had to go out today for an MRI to Fort St. John. I had never been to the new hospital. It is beautiful. And two things I noticed. There's no paid parking, and transit bus comes every 20 minutes right up to the entrance. You know, and I thought kudos for Fort St. John. No paid parking and transit bus to the hospital. And it's it's huge.
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. Good. Thank you.
I attended the parade.
We did attend it.
The hippie fair.
All right. Oh, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Holy hell.